Hey guys, Papercut here with another video. This time I want to talk about French trade. French trade is an interesting strat, one that you will see here and there, but it's not really one you see on ladder a ton. It was interesting in the most recent EGC TV tournament. We did see Louis try French trade on Enlightened Horizon against Marine Lords, House of Lancaster, and he lost. So the question is, why even use it? Is it good? Well, recently I was doing my usual check of Louis replays, and I saw that he played Enlightened Horizon on ladder recently doing French trade, and he definitely refined his strategy, and it looked a lot better. I was very interested, and I did the silly thing of waiting 2 days before making this video, and it's gone because that man plays probably 20 ladder games a day, so his replays don't last very long. So today I'm going to talk about French trade. I'm going to explain why it's usually not done, when it could be good, why it is actually a surprisingly good strat in my opinion, and then I'll do a video recreating how to do it, copying kind of how Louis set it up, though it will be a pale comparison because I am not Louis MT. So with that, let's hop into it. As always, please like and subscribe. It's huge for a channel my size, and if you're interested in coaching, I coach all levels of AOE 4. If you're interested in seeing testimonials or people's review of my work, you can join my coaching Discord. You can also just join just to get advice. People in the coaching Discord are very nice and are always happy to answer questions and give their thoughts. So why no trade, huh? Why is it that we don't see trade very much for French? Well, in general, trade is not a very popular strategy, often just because it takes a while to rev up. It's very dangerous because if your traders are just in the open, unlike your villagers, which should be safe under TCs, and so it's really easy to raid, and oftentimes most civs don't have a bonus to it. It's usually something you do in Imperial when you're completely out of goal on the map. Yet for French, there's even extra reasons why you don't really see trade. First, French feudal all-in is very strong. The reason it's been a day one strat for French and it's still a very good strat is because French's feudal landmark that almost always is chosen, which is the School of Cavalry, allows you to make knights instantly. And that's such a huge tempo setter. Most civs do not have landmarks that allow them to make units, and so since French's allows them to make the strongest unit in feudal, a knight, which is even better for French with all their specialties, such as when they charge they get extra damage, it just makes sense that you want to immediately put that pressure on your opponent and you set the tempo. If you can keep your opponent in their base, you can take all the good food on the map, and then you're just pumping knights and all of a sudden you're winning. So very simple strat to execute. It's still very good, still done today. So that kind of leads this interesting thing between passive play and aggressive play, because if you choose the Chamber of Commerce, which is the trade feudal landmark, you're playing defensive immediately because you have to do a lot of investment. You have to invest in the trade, you usually have to invest in another market to make it more efficient, and then you have to make units. You have to drop a whole nother production building to make those units, and it's just a larger investment. And then you're defending something that is inherently really easy to raid because you have this huge trade line usually. So it makes you have to play more passive and you have to defend really well. But if you are able to, then the boon means that usually you can then just overwhelm your opponent. But generally, I feel like people like to play aggressive more than passive. People want to be the ones setting the tone, setting how the game is being played. And usually that's correct. Usually you do want to be the one setting the pace, because usually you can benefit off setting that pace. But why is French trade good? What actually makes it a surprisingly good option for French and one of the better trades in the game? First, you can choose whatever resource your traders bring back. So for most civs, if they make a trader, they're going to get gold, which is good. But if you think about, especially in feudal, there are some civs that can't make gold units. So then what's the point of getting gold? One, you can get gold for French, but you could also get food. You could also get wood. And that versatility is very, very important, especially when I saw how Louis played it and how I'm going to recreate in the replay we're going to look at. The use of food instead of gold in the trade is actually a very key part of the strat. Second, the Chamber of Commerce, each economic upgrade you research gives you a free trader. And so if you think about it, that's a good amount of feudal upgrades. 1 in the mining camp, 2 in the lumber camp, and then 4 in the mill. So that means that's 7. If I can count my fingers, that's 7 free traders just for getting upgrades. And what's nice is that means that your villagers are getting more efficient. Those upgrades are also cheaper. So all French economic upgrades are 30% cheaper. So it's not even like a huge investment, and boom, you have 7 free traders. Trade posts on the mini map are seen on spawn for French as well. So there's some maps where the spawn of the trade post can be very different. And so if you enter the game, you immediately see you have a really good trade post spawn, then you can know I can do trade immediately. You don't have to wait till you scout it. And then in Imperial or Castle Oral Institute, which is going to be another important point later, you can get an upgrade that causes traders to produce 1 gold passively every 6 seconds. So when to use French trade? Well, this is also going to just be used for when to trade in general. If you're really wanting to try trade as a strat and you're using a civ that has some sort of bonus to trade like Abbasid, Malians, etc., etc. Well, first we have to consider what makes trade good. Trade is better the longer distance the traders go. So generally you want a map where the trade post is in the corner or against the wall on a bigger map so that the traders have a good chance of walking the entire direction. Now you don't want it where, like, if you always trade to your opponent's market, for example, then it's going to be long, but it's going to be near the opponent. So you want a trade post that's on your side of the map, but also very far away. And two, you don't want a trade post that's like in the middle of the map. So usually maps that have two trade posts, one for kind of each person, is better for trade. Oh, and lastly, a big part of it is how easy it is to wall, because you want to build a wall so an opponent has to bust on the wall to go get to your trade, which gives you time to react. So if it's a map that's very easy to wall, doesn't take a lot to do, then of course that's great for trade. If it's a area that has a huge area you need to wall, it's going to be harder to do trade. So generally the maps that are in this current map pool, season 11, that are good for trade, you have Hill and Dale, Inline Horizon, and Altai. Of those three, Inline Horizon is probably the most difficult in a sense because there's this huge open area to wall. At the same time, it is one of the biggest maps, which means your trade is very good if you do it on Inline Horizon. So how to use French trade. So now we're going to kick it over to the replay where I'm going to copy how Louis does it on Inline Horizon, which you could then copy to any other map that you want to trade on. Before I hop into it, some keys that we're going to look at that I will also, of course, bring up when I'm showing the replay. One, the use of food in the trade is going to be very important. Two, the use of the Chamber of Commerce and when to actually start pumping traders. And lastly, three, the use of the Royal Institute, because you want to go Royal Institute because one, you don't need Guild Hall because if your trade's going, you're going to have plenty of food. And the use of the Guild Hall is usually to save food to pull for Imperial. And two, if you do the Royal Institute, you can then get the trade upgrade, which then means while your traders are bringing food, they're also passively giving you gold. Great. So with that, let's go check out the replay. All right, so we're entering the game. Shout out Leave, who is a member of my coaching Discord, who offered to play this game against me so I can demonstrate it. I think Alliant Horizon is also a great example of this because if you look at the EGC TV game that Louis played, he plays it much differently than he did on the ladder. So specifically for that one, the biggest difference is that he tried to do Dark Age fight with Marine Lord. In the latter version of the game, which I think Louis refined his idea of trench on this map, he doesn't do the Dark Age stuff at all. He's going to go straight to feudal. And the idea being is that fighting over this merchant camp, fighting over the wolf's den, it's not worth the time, and you don't really want to do spears in this. You generally want to do knight archer anyway, so making spears feels kind of a waste. So it's better just to go feudal, make archers, push your opponent off the merchant camp, and then do your normal thing. So I think it was especially important to show on this map because other maps don't have the Dark Age stuff, but this one you do. And so I think for the purpose of the French, you just ignore it, trusting that your boom's going to be much, much more worth it. So I think the big key to this is you're still playing French. You still want to make the knights. You still want to make the archers. The difference is that you are first going to boom before that happens. And so before I kind of rush to the points of actually activating this build order, or like how you actually are trying to do it, I think the big key is to consider the three ways that they will be played against. One, the opponent is booming. That's actually great for you. If your opponent is trying to 2TC, your trade should do better. And so all you're trying to do then is make knights to harass and get your trade going. And you're doing just enough knights to slow them down and make them defend while you're doing trade behind that. And then you can either try to make a lot of knights and archers and push in feudal, or you can go castle, get your knight upgrades, especially the Royal Institute ones, and then try to take a really good fight in castle. Two, if your opponent is fast castling, you just make knights, and then if they try to knight attack you post that, and you're trying to get your walls up too, of course you're always trying to get your walls up. If you just have a lot of knights, your knights will beat castle knights as long as you have more of them. You can also add spears if you want. If they're trying to feud all in you, then you're just trying to boom as softly as you can while still making units, which is what's nice about the Chamber of Commerce is that since you get the traders from ecotechs, you can get your ecotechs, helping your villagers, getting 7 free traders, and still playing defense with your units. And then if you can take a really good fight, that allows you to then boom even better behind that. So as the age up happens, you remember you're not going to have stable as you age up. So instead what you're going to have to do is get a lot of wood on age up. I think if I was to change this, I would actually do less villagers on food. I leave 7 as if I'm going to be able to make a knight, but I can't. So I end up actually having too much food. So I said to tweak this, I would say have like 5 on food, keep 2 to 3 on gold, and then put the rest on wood. I'd even do 2 on gold and the rest on wood because you really need to get production. If this is in line horizon, I'd say almost always open archery range so that you can push the archers, you can push the spears away and take the merchant camp. If not, open stables like normal and start making knights. I hadn't really scouted Leave at this point, but I will soon go to his base and notice that he did do Dark Age. He's aging up slower than he has the barracks. I do drop stable anyway because I thought he potentially didn't have a lot of spears, but it's going to be okay. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. The big thing is I have 4 aging up. I'm relying a lot to wood. I'm putting the Chamber of Commerce near my base. A lot of times I've seen from French players try to do this type of opening. They put the Chamber of Commerce in the corner. That's a waste of lock time for your builds. Just build the Chamber of Commerce and then build a market over here. And the key what you do is you have the Chamber of Commerce rally to the market rally to the trade post. And so that means that the Chamber of Commerce will spawn sending the trader to the market, and then they would go to the trade post. So at this point, the key is I'm just rallying a lot to wood because I have a lot of production I need to drop. I need to drop a stable, I need to drop an archery range, potentially 2 archery ranges. So I'm just rallying to wood. And then I want to start getting my eco upgrade soon. So I start with double broadaxe. I need a lot of wood. So that's going to give me my first trader. Boom. The instant double broadaxe is over. So at this point, I have scouted that he has made spears, that he's on deer. And so I'm actually trying to get a knight so I can go raid his deer. Let's actually toggle Foggle War here so you can see my perspective. Night comes out, I start my walling. So I'm going to wall down here first. I'm going to take the merchant camp. And what I'm also doing is I need to get about a couple knights and archers so I can go clear the wolves' den. So on a line horizon specifically, the wolves are now sitting right next to my trade posts. So I need to clear those before I can actually start trading. I'm now getting forestry, which is a tech I would never get normally. But I do now get a trader out of it. Then I put my marker in the side. I'm just sitting here waiting for my archers to start coming out. I definitely could have been maybe active, tried to raid once, but once I saw the spearmen, I knew his spearmen are probably sitting on his resources, so it's no need to try to like force it. Chase the scout away, because in the hypothetical, I think he knew I was trying something weird because I did invite him to do a custom game and he knew I was kind of messing around with this. But if someone isn't scouting very closely, they might not have seen the Chamber of Commerce. If you chase away the scout, they might not know that you're still trading, which is really nice. So if you are doing this and you think they haven't seen chasing away the scout, totally worth it. That's why I say the spears. I'm getting the archers out. At this point, I drop 2 archer ranges because I see a lot of spears. Every trader I make, I'm going to grab and switch them over to food. So right now, so this is the trader going from here to here. Once that trader goes to the corner market, I'm going to get 60 food per drop off. And the goal you're going to see here in this is that the more traders I get, the less fills I need on food. How amazing is that? A resource that French often struggles with in a sense to really mass their knights is actually food. Because you need to get deer, you need to get boar. If you could secure those things, great. If not, then you're struggling to pump knights. But as the traders start to take over and the traders start to be the food source, your villagers can be purely on gold, stone for keeps and castle, and wood. Amazing, right? So he sends his spearmen in because he sees I'm trading. My archers are going to clean this up. I'm bringing my group back from raiding the wolves. He's going to kill a trader. It's fine. I'm going to claim his archers, and he's going castle. And as I was saying, the key part of this is actually going all of your traders on food. If you watch the EGC TV game from Louis' perspective, he actually does like half on food, half on gold. But then when he does the latter version, he actually does purely on food. And then as he really builds his trade numbers, he's just on gold and stone and wood for his villagers, which makes his economy much more efficient. He's just vacuuming gold on the map. And then once he gets the upgrade to make his traders also produce passive gold, that means his traders producing food and gold, and he can just pump knights and arbs. Just knights and arbitrier, crazy amount. So I see he hits castle, so I'm going to go pressure with my knights. My goal is to buy myself time. As you notice, I'm walling the top up here. I'm trying to get the wall in the middle. My goal is, can I delay his knights before I get my walls up? I'm trying to build up my knight numbers too. I think if someone fast castles and you're doing trade, especially as French, you have the knights, right? So don't be afraid to sit in feudal for a while. Your goal is to get your trade going, and your goal is to build your knight numbers. So look at this. Here's some stat comparisons, for example. So this mounted samurai, he has 24 damage, 4 armor, 230 health. My feudal knight, when he charges and hits, has 22 damage, has 190 health, 3 armor. So like, yes, 1v1 they're gonna lose, but 2 knights are doing 19 damage each against a knight that's only doing 24. So I already have the knight lead. All I need to do is just keep adding knights. So I'm going to add a second stable. I'm going to add a barracks too, because I can start making passive spearmen basically, and if I take a fight, I have a few spearmen to do extra damage, but then my knight numbers are the thing that's important. And you also need knights because you want to defend the trade line. You want to be able to easily respond to him trying to burn the wall down. So I'm not trying to lose knights. I'm just trying to pressure, maybe get a Vil kill in there, pull out, and then get my knight healing so that I can start healing my knights up. I'm just building my numbers. It's also great since I'm trading is that I can trade out resources when I overgrab something and keep my macro tight. So I'm not trying to rush castle. I'm just pumping units. If this was a 2TC, I kind of feel the same way. I'm not trying to rush castle. I'm trying to get my boom up, build my knight numbers. So when I go Royal Institute, I then have a really strong knight group to upgrade and then use as my main attack force. So I just keep adding, and also when you have the chamber commerce in a second market, you're basically like 3TC, because that means you can make 2 traders and a villager regularly. Now you don't have to maintain consistent trader production. You should always maintain villager production, but the idea is that that's how you're booming. Like I'm at 20 more eco units than leave right now because of my trade. At this point, he tries to do a little push. He has 4 knights, I have 9, plus my 15 archers, plus my 2 spearmen. So it's just going to be really hard for him to actually push, and the walls means that he can't get through to my trade very easily before my knights can respond. And he can't stay and take this fight. Like, his knights are better than mine, but he can't stay and take, and now my knights are healing, which is a pretty big deal as well. Now what you'll notice is I'm barely on food. I have 7 vills on food, 13 on wood, 17 on gold, and I'm getting 700 food a minute. That's because each trader is giving me 60 food, and I forgot to switch these over. But I try to regularly go and switch them over. If you're going to do this strategy, I suggest you have a hotkey that gets all your traders. I did, and then I forgot what the hotkey was. So I tried it, and I said, screw it. I'm just going to keep grabbing groups of, of traders and putting them on food. But make sure you have the hotkey to grab all your traders with one push of a button, and just keep switching them over to food. And that's a really big deal. My eco is pumping right now compared to Leafs. It's just crazy. And I could honestly probably just won this game just staying in feudal and just making a lot of units. But once I build up what I feel like is a confident amount of knights, I'm good to go. Now, if he tries to attack the wall, I can just send my group of knights to fight. He tries to take a fight here. He can't take it. I just send 1 Vil over to repair the wall. And then I chase these knights away as well. And once again, just chilling, just making units at this point. I think that's the key about the French trade. If you're able to get the walls up and get enough knights to defend initial push, you are in a great spot. And then once you start flipping these over to food, it really feels like your eco is unstoppable. And then your vills can be primarily gold. When you age up, you can get a bunch of vills on stone and rush up the keep for even cheaper units. And now your trade is bolstered by the cheaper units around the keep. It just feels really broken. Like, I don't even care about him getting relics, honestly. Like, it doesn't really matter that much to me if he gets relics, because I am so far ahead eco-wise. So I'm going to get royal bloodlines, and then I'll get merchant guilds, and that means every trader is going to generate 1 gold every 6 seconds, which is, if you think about it, a crazy amount of gold. If you think about gold per minute, 60 seconds divided by 6, that's 10. So that means they're producing 60 gold, and wait, I did that math wrong. Yes, so that means they're producing 10 gold a minute, which is, then if I have 25 traders, it's 250 gold a minute. Like, yeah, that's amazing. Like, that's such a huge boost, and that's why I think going Royal Institute is so good in this build. If you watch the EGC TV version of the game that Louis did against ML, he does Guild Hall, and then when he refines the build, he goes Royal Institute, because I think he quickly realized, man, the Merchant Guild is really nice. And is really big to this sort of build. He starts reading my vills. I just wall up, chase him down. It's not a big deal to me. I'm so far ahead on traders, I knew it's fine. Catch his knights. At this point, it's over. He can't produce the same level. We have 20 knights on royal bloodlines. It's about to be GG. So I hope you found this strategy really interesting. I think it has a lot of potential. What's nice is that if someone's booming, like if you're doing this against someone trying to 3TC, just add more markets and make even more traders. And if you need to, you can even split the traders. You could have a group of them that are on food, a group that are on gold, even a couple that are on wood. Like, whatever resource you need, you can flip to, which makes the trade extremely flexible. Because whatever resource you're struggling to get, you can just flip all your traders to that, and then you have it. So it's also amazing to re-macro them whenever you need. It makes French trade just very strong. At this point, you know, it's way better than the School of Cavalry. The School of Cavalry's whole purpose is just to give you that initial pump of knights. That helps you take a huge advantage. But if you get the trade up, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then that means also every age up, whenever I get the next eco techs, I get more free traders. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you French players like having another option, especially against civs that are really boomy or really good at playing defense on those maps that might be bigger. And you're like, you know what? I'm not going to try to force a feudal attack here. I'm going to trade. I'm going to outboom them, and I'm going to run them down with my knights. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on the strategy, and good luck on your own games.